The title of today's message is I Am. And then I Am. So if you write down, if you do a notebook, if you have notes, it's I Am, I Am. Unless I should be exalted above measure by the abundance of the revelations, a thorn in the flesh was given to me, a messenger of Satan to buffet me, lest I be exalted above measure. Concerning this thing, I pleaded with the Lord 3 times that it might depart from me. And he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, most gladly, I will rather boast in my infirmities, that the power of Christ may rest upon me. Therefore, I take pleasure in infirmities, in reproaches, in needs, in persecutions, in distresses, for Christ's sake. For when I am weak, then I am strong. 2 Corinthians 7, that was. Oh. 2 Corinthians 12. Oh, I haven't put the chapter. It's verse 7. You work out the chapter. There you go. So, sorry, my bad. 2 Corinthians 12, verse 7. There you go. Thank you, Debbie. Everyone was like, I've got to get a new Bible. Thanks, Debs. Yeah. Sorry, I got the verses. I forgot. Yeah, for some reason I didn't put the chapter. There we go. 2 Corinthians 12. I think it's 12. That's what Debbie's saying anyway. Verse 7. Okay. So, yeah, brilliant. Okay, we're going to look at I Am. We're going to look at the power of I Am today. How we can speak I Am over ourselves. And what that looks like and what it can look like. And how it can impact us, whether it's positively or negatively, what I Am can be for us. And I don't believe there's not one person in this room that doesn't struggle with the I Am. Everybody struggles with this because I hang around with all of you, okay? I know you, and I hear a lot of I am something, okay? And it's not always good. It's not always positive. It's sometimes a very negative about yourself. And it's really important that we understand what I am is. So in Exodus 3, verse 11, so it's definitely chapter 3, verse 10 and 11, God is meeting with Moses at the burning bush, and he says to him, like, I want you to do this thing. And he says in verse 10, come now, therefore, and I will send you to Pharaoh, that you may bring my people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt. Verse 11, but Moses. This is the problem that we can have sometimes, is that there's a but and us, isn't there? You know, like God can say something, but then we go, yeah, but God. Yeah, but what about, you haven't sorted out I want these things first. I need these things sorted out. I haven't got this. I haven't got that. But Moses, yeah, so it's like God, the king of everything, who knows everything, is saying, go do this thing. Go and do this assignment for me. And he's going, but Moses comes in. But Moses says to the Lord, oh Lord, wrong one. But Moses says to God, who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and that I should bring the children of Israel out of Egypt? Who am I? What's the things that are being said over you right now by you? Who are you? What are you saying? When God says you can, what are you saying? What are you saying? Okay, let's go. Or is it, but? Who am I? And then in Exodus 4, verse 10, he comes up with a lot of excuses, but this is another one. And in verse 10, it says, then Moses says to the Lord, oh Lord, I am not eloquent. Neither before nor since we have spoken to your servant, but I am slow of speech and slow of tongue. God has said something, but we reply with our restrictions and in how we see ourselves and in how it's not possible and how it can't possibly work. And we also remind God of our past, that we're not good enough. We haven't got a good background. We've made mistakes. And we tell him about our weaknesses, our flaws. Oh, yeah, I can't speak. I have, even in this conversation, God, since we've started speaking, it hasn't changed. I'm still struggling with how I speak. I'm not eloquent. I am not. How many I am nots are you saying over yourself right now in your life? I am not. What are you saying that is not possible? What are you speaking over yourself? How are you coaching yourself? And as I was reading this week, I was thinking, I don't think this whole story regarding Moses and the Israelites and freeing the Egyptians, I think there's a way more deeper meaning to why God called Moses than that he called Moses to do an assignment and that was it. That was all he was meant to do. I think when you really read through those replies that Moses gives to God, when God says, go do this thing, you can do this thing, and he shows him all these different things, and he shows him signs and wonders, and Moses just keeps saying, no, 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 no. And in the end, Moses says, just find someone else. I just find someone else. It's like, there must be somebody better. And the thing is, God can get anybody. God can use anybody. He can find somebody else. But for some reason, he chooses Moses. Why? I think the more I read it, the more I realize that God isn't calling Moses to rescue the Israelites. God is calling Moses to rescue Moses. Because Moses is actually in the wilderness at this time. He's just in the wilderness. And you think, okay, maybe he's having a nice quiet life. He's married. Maybe he's just in the wilderness and he's like looking after the sheep and it's just chilled out. He's been there 40 years. Oh, why is God bothering him? He's got a nice life. Sounds good to me. Until Moses starts speaking back and you realize he's not actually in a very good headspace. He's not actually in a good place with himself. He doesn't actually think very much of who he is. So I think equally as much as Moses was being called out to rescue some people, and so for God to use him, God, as always, with all of us here, even though he may use you to help rescue someone, he might use you to preach the gospel, he might put a calling in you that has an impact on lives, he's also rescuing you from yourself. And so we've got to kind of understand and realize, this ministry thing that you're putting in me, this calling, this assignment that you're giving me, it's not just about them. It's about what you're doing through me. You're fixing me at the same time. You're healing me at the same time. We know the story of Moses. We know that he goes on and he's speaking fine. We know that there's not a hindrance for him anymore. He goes up and spends time alone with God. He comes back down the mountain. He speaks to the people. And they're talking about 1 million+ people he's talking to. He has no problem with this. Because God says, look, you might think this about yourself, but I don't see it. I see what's ahead. I see where you're heading. So how do we speak over ourselves, even when God is calling us, even when God is speaking to us? Because God wants to rescue you from your I ams. And I don't know what your I ams are. I don't know what you're saying over yourself, but God wants to rescue you from them today. I am depressed. Yeah, people say that I am depressed. You may be having dark thoughts, but that's not who you are. Do you understand? When you start saying I am, that's saying who you are. It's not who you are. It's just your state of mind. It's just where you are right now as in position in life. It's just something that's surrounding you. It's something that's happening. It's something that's here, but it's not who you are. I am depressed. No. You might not be in a good place, but that's not who you are. But if you say it enough, it's who you become. It's what you become. I am a victim. I am a victim. Or could it be that bad things were done to you? Could it be that bad things have happened to you? Could it be that stuff has happened? But that isn't who you are. I am not walking around like I am a victim. Stuff has happened, yes, I've got to deal with it. God's going to heal me through it. He's going to work through some stuff. But if I proclaim that that's who I am, I will walk around like a victim. And that means if somebody's done something to you to create that label, it means they're still winning. Do you know that? Yeah? So let's say you're in an abusive relationship, for example, and now you're saying, I'm a victim. I'm a victim of this. And you keep saying it. Then they're still winning. They're still abusing you. Because that isn't who you are. That isn't who you are. It's what's happened to you. It's what's happened to you. I'm not downplaying I'm not downplaying depression. I'm not downplaying that we can have abuse happen to us. What I'm saying is, don't speak it over you as being your identity. It's not who you are. I am a failure. Is that who you are? Or is that just what's happened? That you've just failed? That something just hasn't gone to plan? That doesn't make you a failure. It doesn't mean, oh, I am a failure now. It just means that in life, sometimes things don't work out. Sometimes we try and we fail. It doesn't make us a failure. It just means that we fail. And we know that there are many people that say that when we learn how to fail, we will learn how to be successful. Because if we learn how to not do something right, we can eventually get to the right solution. So sometimes we've got to trip up. Sometimes we've got to make mistakes. People out there are trying to live a perfect life. There are Christians that try and do the same thing, idiots. Yeah? Okay, like Jesus died because we couldn't do it. Yeah? So we can't live a perfect life because that's why he had to live a perfect life for us. So we're going to fail. You're going to fail the minute you gave your life to Jesus. You're going to fail that week. You're going to fail 20 years on and think, man, why am I still failing? What's going on? I should know better. I'm a better Christian than this. I've been walking with God longer. I've been serving the church. Because we're going to fail. But that isn't who you are. Oh, I'm a failure. I'm a failure. And well, if you keep speaking it and you keep saying it, you will become it. I am a bad parent. Or are you just trying to learn to do something for the first time without instructions? See, we can think we're bad parents because a lot of the times we can look at somebody else and think, man, look at their perfect Instagram life with their pictures and all that kind of stuff. People say stuff to us, me and Claire, they come in and they say things like, oh, you guys are just so... And we did a talk about marriage, didn't we? And they were like, oh, I never knew that. Wouldn't even imagine. You're like, what? Don't you live life? Like, yeah, we argue. And yes, our kids do our head in sometimes. And yes, sometimes it's a real nightmare. And sometimes we don't actually know what we're doing with our kids. We don't have the manual. We're working it out as we go along. And can I just say, newsflash, especially if anyone's got a brand new baby or a baby on the way, okay? Every child is different. You will get some nagging aunties, okay? That's like a term, but it could be anyone. It could be mums, dads, sisters, brothers, people that didn't even have kids, okay? That's the funniest one, okay? And they will all tell you how to do it, okay? But they don't know your kid. Yeah, your kid's different. And so when people say, oh, this is what you're going to do to get them to sleep at night, it was like, yeah, well, I tried it. It didn't work. So my kid I must be a bad parent then. Well, what we learn, have you had to learn with Noah? To study him and go, this works. This is what works. I've learned. And then people say, do you do this thing, Sats? Do you do this thing? You're like, no, I don't do that. Oh, it worked for my baby. Yeah, brilliant. They're all different. All of you are different. Yeah, thank God for that. We're all different. So how can we be bad parents when we're just getting this thing delivered to us? And we're like, I don't know how to drive this, but I'm going to work it out as I go. I'm going to work it out, and my kids are going to think different to other people's kids, and they're going to be... So when you see those Instagram pictures or you see those photos of holidays, when we were doing photos on our holiday and sending them to people saying, we're having a great holiday, you don't know how hard it was sometimes to be like, just get in the photo right now, you know? Like, we just want one photo. Let's at least show them that we're enjoying each other's company. Then you could go back to your iPad, or then you could go whatever. You know, like, that's the truth. That's the truth. Like, and there's nothing wrong with having those pictures. They're good memories. But the truth is, it's not as easy. It's not, let's just all get, okay, Daddy, where do you want me? It don't work like that. And then do you know what happens after that? Is it's you that messes up the photo. You're getting there because you're so angry now. Everyone's like, and you're like, this is the truth. So when we say we're bad parents, are we just not learning as we go? Are we not just learning? So we've got to stop saying we're bad parents because maybe we'll then become bad parents. Rather than just saying, I'm not doing this very well. I'm going to just try and learn. I'm going to study. I'm going to grow. I'm going to just give what I've got, my best, to my kids. And I just hope that that's enough. I am not good enough. Many people say this. You feel low about yourself, but that's not who you are. I am disgusting. You may feel like you've let yourself down or God down or others maybe done things that are not great. But that's not who you are. But if we speak it and we keep saying it, maybe we'll become it. I am a loser. Yeah, we can say, I'm a loser. I'm just a loser. I'm just like nothing. I'm just nobody. I'm just like this. I'm a loser. Maybe you've lost. Yeah, maybe if you're a Man United fan, maybe you've lost a few times. Bristol City fan even more. Rovers fans, sorry, I can't pray for you. But maybe you've lost sometimes. Maybe it hasn't always been a win. Maybe you've had days where it just didn't work out. You had good plans, good intentions, and it just became a loss. This was a lost day. It just wasn't a good one. That doesn't make you a loser. It just means it was a bad day and you didn't win. Go again tomorrow. But we speak it over ourselves. It's what we become. I am alone, not true. You can feel lonely, but you're never alone. Never. I mean, hopefully, there's a church family around you that you should know that. But even so, God is always with you. I am with you. I am for you. He sang it, not against you. I am lost. No, you might be stumbling around the dark, but you're not lost. It's not who you are. If you're a follower of Christ, you've been found. Is that right? So you're not lost. You can just be in moments where it looks a little bit dark and you're fumbling around and you're trying to find your way. But you're not lost because you are found. These statements are lies we tell ourselves, but it's not who we are. If we only speak these things over ourselves, we will start to believe it. What was once a throwaway comment, what was once just a thing you said, maybe you just got up and looked in the mirror and said, oh, you're disgusting. You said it once, and you just say it over and over again, and that's what you become. And then actually what you said as just a throwaway comment now becomes something where you start degrading yourself. You start not paying attention to yourself. You don't look after yourself as much. And you start becoming the very thing that you were proclaiming over yourself because you believe it. Do you know, it takes time for a thought to become a belief. That means whatever I am statements that you speak over yourself that have become true to you means you have invested time to do that. We are in a depressive, defeatist, and negative world. People love to tear down rather than build up. I think that's why the Bible's written the way it is. Do you see when it says build one another up? Yeah? So when we tear people down, we're operating the way the world operates. When we attack one another, we operate the way the world operates. That's the way the world is. It's just depressive, it's negative, and it's wanting to tear down. The football's on its way, isn't it? Now, everyone's a hero until they're not. Suddenly you can go from being amazing to not being amazing in 3 days. Oh, it was the best. Oh, it's amazing. What a great night. They scored the winning goal. Wow. Next game, miss the chance. Don't go through. Don't win the cup. Whatever it is, everyone hates you. This is the world we're in, the way that we live. Someone serves a purpose until they don't serve a purpose and you drop them. We live in a negative world, a defeative, negative world, tearing down one another. Why the Bible shows us the opposite. The Bible shows the opposite because the Spirit is the opposite. And he's showing us how to live together. He's how to have unity, how to work together, how to build together, how to lift one another up. But it's so easy to default into just pulling each other down. It's so easy to pull ourselves down. I mean, we're really good at doing it to ourselves. So it's just easy. It just becomes part of something that we can do to each other. The problem with this way of thinking is it took time to renew your mind into that way of thinking. It means now that you need to invest harder and greater than ever before to change your mind to align with the way God thinks and the way he wants you to think and the way he says things over you and to speak his language over your life. So if you're not investing that time and you're wondering, why am I feeling so low? Why am I feeling like that? Well, are you spending a lot of time with you and you and you? And not enough time with him and his word and what he says? Because we're all going to default to the negative because it's what's here. It's what's on offer. It's what the world is doing over and over again. It's what we see on TV. It's what we see in sports. It's what we see in life. So we're just going to default to, oh, that's just easy for me to speak trash over my life. You've got to work hard to change the way you think. So if you're a defeatist right now, or you're negative about yourself, or negative about life, or negative about others, you've got to change that by investing in a relationship with God, listening to his word, reading his word, and allowing his word to become your truth. And his truth is very much the opposite. It's a lifter of our spirit, not a squasher. It doesn't trample us, it raises us. His word changes us. It pulls us out of pits. It sets our feet on a rock. That's what the word does. His words, his language, how he speaks. And we've got to change as a church, and we've got to change individually in ourselves the way that we speak about ourselves and the way that we speak about others, so that we start speaking God's language, so that we can actually be overcomers in this world, that this world sees a group of people that are overcomers, a group of people that speak different, a different language. When people walk through the doors, they're like, that's that language. What is that? I've never heard that. It almost sounds positive. And you have to explain what that is. Oh, yeah, well, what that is, it's the opposite of what you've been listening to your whole life. I challenge you to decide today to come out of the way you think and invest with a better attitude and more determination than you've been thinking. It's easy for us to think negatively, and we have to work hard to think opposite. It's easy for us to think negative. We just default there, don't we? Like, it's just the first place we can go. Oh, well, that's what I always thought was going to happen anyway. It's just where we go. But actually, we've got to train our brain to think on the things above. So that when stuff hits, even if it's hard stuff, we're like, no, this is what God wants me to do. This is what God says about me. Not being defeated, not default into a place of defeat. Here we go. I need to skip ahead. Genesis 32:27. Then the man said, let me go, for it's daybreak. But Jacob replied, I will not let you go unless you bless me. What is your name? The man asked. Jacob replied, Jacob, I am Jacob. I am Jacob. Jacob means supplanter. Supplanter, that word, means someone who took things that weren't theirs. Jacob was known as a deceiver. And when he was asked his name, he said, I'm Jacob. That's who he saw himself as. I'm the deceiver. I'm the one that takes things that's not mine. That's who I am. That's what I do. But God comes along and he says to Jacob, your name shall no longer be called Jacob, but Israel. For you have struggled with God and with men and have prevailed. Jacob introduces himself as the deceiver. And back then, and to this day, in the Hebrew culture, names mean more than they do in our culture. Yeah, when we say, hi, I'm rich, or whatever, no one goes like, oh, okay, that means, I know what it means. It means great and powerful ruler. It's actually, okay. But like, they go, oh, hello, great and powerful ruler. It doesn't mean anything. It just means rich. It doesn't, no one name, I wasn't named because someone looked it up. I don't even know if you could even look names up back when I wasn't named. I don't know. But the meanings don't have so much meaning in our culture, but they do. Back then, it meant something. So when he's saying, I am Jacob, he means it. He's defining who he is, and he's saying what he is. Your actions, your mistakes, the things you have done, things that have tainted you, made you who you see yourself to be, how people see you, how you see yourself. It can only stick if you allow it to become you and you believe it. God comes along and he's asking you all, what is your name? Who are you? What is your identity? How will you respond to him? Do we just list out all the sins we did that week? Oh, this is really who I am, God. This is the mistakes I've made. This is what I've done. Like, he doesn't see any of that. Like, how do we even introduce ourselves to God when we're meeting with God? Are we telling him all the mistakes we've made? Are we telling him all the mistakes somebody else has made? Are we telling him all the mistakes that, how do we speak? How do we introduce ourselves? How do we have a conversation with God? What language are we speaking over ourselves? So God hears Jacob's response. And I love this because his name means supplant, which means to take something that's not yours, right? To sneak in and shift it, to supplant. And God does this with him, with his name. He supplants his name. He goes in, he takes it, and he says, I'm going to give you a new one. I'm going to change it. Your name will no longer be Jacob, but Israel. You see, for all of his faults, Jacob was recognized by God as a man who struggled. What about you? We already know about your faults because you talk about them too much. But does God see you as the person that struggled? Does he see you as the person that endured, that wrestled through life? And here you are. You see, this is what he recognized him. He said, no, you're the one that wrestled. You're the one that struggled. You're the one that fought. You're the one that's battled to get to this place right now. This is how I see you. So your name isn't Jacob because there's more to you than the stuff you've done. There's more to you than that. It's time that we stop speaking death and discouragement over ourselves. It's time for you to stop seeing all the negative things about you and listen to God and what he says. How did this change come for Jacob? I thought this is a really good thing for us to learn, to take away from today. He fought with God. He fought, he wrestled with God. He fought because he was serious about getting his blessing. And sometimes I kind of feel like we've fallen into this placid, relationship where we just talk to God in a way that's almost like he's a genie, but we've got a relationship with him, but are we fighting with God? Are we fighting to say, God, no, I know that there's more. I know that you have more for me. Or are we just settling for less? Are we settling for what we're saying over ourselves? I am this, I am that. That's all it is. That's all it. God knows that. So this is where we're going to live. Or are we fighting to say, no, God, I know that you've got more for me. I know that you have. I know that you have because you're a God that blesses. And Jacob holds on, he fights, he wrestles. And God sees that and he blesses him. He changes his name. Just to let you know, if you do fight with God, you might walk with a limp the rest of your life, okay? But are we actually wrestling and fighting for what is God's blessing? Or have we just settled? This is all right. This is enough. This is okay. This is exactly what I thought I would be like. This is what I imagined my life would look like. This is okay. I go to church. I know Jesus. I guess it's okay. Or are we fighting for more? Are we saying, God, I know there is more. I know there is more. Whether it's in your own life, whether it's in God using you to reach others, whatever it is, how are we approaching God? So I like the fact that he fought. He fought to get his blessing. You may have been a deceiver. You may have been someone who takes over, but God is taking over. That's what happens with Jacob. God is taking over. God is coming and saying, you are no longer this. This is not who you are anymore. This is not what we're gonna label you as. This is not what I want people to remember you as. I say you are Israel. And Israel means a man seeing God. Isn't it interesting that when we take things that aren't ours, when we're a deceiver, it's because we're only looking for life for ourselves. We're looking at me and what we can get. But when God comes in and he meets you and he changes who you are, suddenly your eyes aren't looking at you anymore, they're looking at him. A man seeing God, and when we see God differently to the way we were seeing him before, then we see life differently. We speak differently about ourselves. We think differently about ourselves. So God, you see the thing is, you're waiting for your name to change, but your name has already been changed. You see, you're sat here thinking, oh, what's the end? When are you going to show me what? You're going to tell me my new name? No, your name's already been changed. God's already changed your name. You were once here, but you were once lost, but you're found. Yeah, you were dead. Yeah, you were dead in your sins. That was who you were. But now you're made alive through Christ. You are a new creation, and the old is gone. You see, it's already happened. The problem is we're still walking around with the same junk in our heads of talking junk over ourselves, saying stuff over ourselves. Oh, I am this and I am that. And God's like, that's not who you are. Stop saying it. Stop saying it. In fact, if you know anyone, yeah, now you know each other quite well, okay, and someone says, oh, I am, you say, no. Maybe if you go for coffee with people, say if you say it, you get the coffees in. The I am jar. That's what we could have. Instead of a swear jar, an I am jar. You say some negative I ams, we will fill that jar up quickly, I'm sure. When you start to see God, you start to see the way God speaks about you. You see life the way God sees it, and you change the way you think. See, God responds to Moses, and he says, to Moses saying, who am I? Who am I? I can't speak. I don't have the words to say. I'm not even eloquent in the way I speak. And that hasn't changed since we met. Like, if you're really that powerful, surely you would have shifted this for me by now. That's another thing we put on God, that if he's really going to give you an assignment, he's going to give you all the tools right there and then. That's going to be really obvious, but God's going to say, no, you need to go and you need to do it. And then you'll find out it's already changed. You see, you don't see a moment with Moses where he goes, oh, I'm speaking eloquent now. I'm speaking to the masses. It just comes, doesn't it? Because God's already given him the tools. He's already given you everything you need to do what you need to do in your relationship with God and your assignments that he gives you. He's already given these things to you. So this is God's response to him. See, like Moses is saying, I don't think I'm the guy. Yeah, I don't think so. See, I've learned over in this life, God, that I'm not the guy. I just realized I'm just not the dude. And then he's like, I'm the last person you should ask. I'm a murderer. Did you know that? I'm a failure. I'm a nobody. I'm a foster kid. I didn't have a chance. I got taken away from my family when I was young, and I was thrown in the palace. And then I did something stupid, and I had to run to the desert. Now I've been living in the desert for 40 years, and I'm under a different kind of, in a different home now. So I've been in like 3 different homes already. I didn't have a chance, God. I didn't have a chance with this life. He's giving all these reasons. I'm going to just stay here. This is what I deserve. This is who I am. This is what Moses is saying, really. This is it. This is where I belong. This is what I deserve. I've made so many mistakes. I've done so many things wrong. I don't have a place to belong. I don't have my own tribe. I'm just a no one. This is where I live. God says, I made your mouth. I can do anything. I put everything you need in you. Just believe it. He's saying that to you right now. You want to know how to be a good parent? You've already got it. He's put it in you. Just open it up. You want to know how to work better in your company, in your workplace, or whatever it is? God's already given you the tools. You want to know how to preach the gospel and tell people about Jesus? God's already put it in you. You want to know how to just be a better husband or wife or whatever it might be? God's already put it in you. You've got everything you need is in you. Because when God was asked, who are you? He says, I am that I am. We all through life say, I am this, I am that. But we do so not knowing that there is only one I am that matters. And that's the one that proclaims who he is. I don't know what I ams you are placing on yourself, but all you need to know is I am. All you need to know is, I am. All these little I ams that you keep speaking over yourself. The I am trumps them all. All of them. Every one of them. You got to realize that if we want to be more than conquerors, if we want to be overcomers, we have to accept that he is. So many people are like, yeah, but what is that? What happens? Who made God? Who made God? This is what he is. Full stop. That's how you answer it. I am. This is how God answered. There is no beginning and end. I am. This is it. This is what it begins and ends with me. Yeah, but I need to have it because my brain needs to work it all out. Well, you have to work it out with these 3 letters. I am. Work it out. I need more substance. No, I am. See, God was so focused on understanding and saying to us, no, you don't need to know anything else, Moses. All they need to know when you go is, tell them I am sent you. Yeah, I am what? Dave? Like, what is, like, have you got a name? What is it? I am. He didn't even give a name. He just said, I am. I'm everything. I'm all things. He is the I am. And Jesus highlights these things when he's preaching in John. And he says, I am. And people know this. This is why we know that Jesus was God. There's another argument, if anyone's out there moaning about that one. Okay, because he made a statement that was blasphemous. He said, I am. He said it 7 times. I am. And he wasn't saying, I am an idiot, like we say over ourselves. Or I am a failure, like we say over ourselves. He was saying, I am. I am the bread of life. You see, if he is the bread of life, it means he fulfills us, he completes us, and he provides for us. Now, we can say that we're empty. I am empty. But he is our bread. So we can speak junk over our lives. We can say what we want to say over ourselves because it doesn't matter what I say to you today, you're still going to go and do it. I'm still going to go and do it. I'm preaching it, okay? But the reality of it is, the truth is, if you're empty, well, you just need to know where you need to go. You need to go to I am. And you go to I am and you find out that he is the bread that will fulfill you and complete you. So when you're feeling like lacking, you're struggling, you're not fulfilled, you're not complete, Well, one, it's probably because you're trying to fill it with junk. But two, it's because you're not going to the bread. Because he is the bread of life. He also says, I am the light of the world. This means, going back to depression, you can be walking in darkness, but darkness is only powerful in the absence of light. You know, darkness doesn't actually exist. Do you know that? Darkness exists only in the absence of light. So when there is light, there is no such thing as darkness. So if you're in a dark place in your brain, if you're in a dark place in your mind, it's because you have removed yourself from the I am, the light of the world. And the church does this a lot. Oh, I'm in a dark, dark place, me. Have you been hanging out with the light of the world or the angel of darkness? Which one has it been? Because I'm thinking I'm sliding towards the other one. Because it can only happen. It doesn't mean that we got flesh, we got things that we struggle, we get battles in our brains all the time. We're always fighting up here. But if we are fueling it with darkness, darkness is what we become. But if he is the I am of light, there's no excuse. We're just not connecting to the light. Hang out with the light. He's the light of the world. I am the door. We spend life opening so many doors, hoping that we will find the right one. And we open many wrong ones. But the only door we need to open is his door. Let Jesus in through the door. Stop going, oh, a new boyfriend, a new boyfriend, a new boyfriend, come in. I'll do it the other way. A new girlfriend, a new girlfriend. You see, God's like, you keep opening the doors to the apps. You keep opening the doors to relationship, opening the doors to financial trouble. You keep opening the doors to things that you shouldn't be opening the doors to, but there's only one door you should be opening. And we all know this because we do stupid things. We go like, oh, open the doors, walk through the door, open the door, walk through the door. All gets us in a mess. And we come out like haggard and this life is really tough. And God's like, there's this door that's been there the whole time. And you open 25 others. Try this one, and we do. And we go, found the right door. And we walk through the door, and we feel like we're different, and we've cleaned ourselves up, and things are better because he is the door. I am the good shepherd. We can feel lost, abandoned, broken, separated, but that is because we have placed ourselves in a mindset that this is who we are. But if he is the good shepherd, he says he'll leave 99 to chase you down. You're living in a lie when you say these things. I'm abandoned, I'm broken, I'm separated. No one cares about me. You know that there's that thing in it, I feel so sad. Nobody loves me, I'll go and eat some worms. I don't even know what that means. Like, why eat worms? Go and eat some beans at least or something, I don't know. But we can sit there and feel victims of our, just so sad and everything's really bad. He's a good shepherd. He's literally there saying, hello. He's trying to find you as well. He's like looking around the rocks. He's gone out to get you. And you're like, no, I'm going to stay in this cave. Hide. No one cares. And Jesus is on his way. Jesus is right there. He's a good shepherd. He's the I am. I am the resurrection and the life. What about when you're living a life where you speak death over your life? You speak death over yourself. And you live in that death. Jesus says, I'm the resurrection and the life. As Christians, we cannot live under the I ams that keep us down. Jesus is resurrected so that we can be resurrected. We shouldn't be living in the death. We shouldn't be sat in the grave going, when's it going to work out? When am I going to come out of the grave? And God's like, the grave's empty. Like the stone has been rolled. You're sat in here by your own volition. You literally chose to walk in and sit in it. The grave is empty because I rose from the dead. So you need to be living a life resurrected. Because the I ams that we speak over ourselves, the I ams that we say, put us in the grave. But Jesus didn't just die on the cross, he rose from the dead. Because he is, and he is the I am. I am the way, the truth, and the life. When you are living a lie, when you are living in deception and uncertainty about life or the decisions that you are making, you have forgotten that you have strayed from the truth. And we're all guilty of this one. You're taking your eyes off of Jesus and away from the certainty that Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. Stop living in lies, because that's the opposite of truth. Yeah? So if he's the truth and you're speaking lies over yourself, do you think you maybe drifted away from the I am of truth? The I am of being the way? The I am of being life? Jesus is the way. I am the true vine. Struggling to see results in your life? Struggling to see fruit from your labor? What you are connected to? Who you are abiding in? Struggling to see what's going on in your life right now? I'm working really hard. I'm doing such great things. I get up every day and I do what I'm supposed to do. Maybe that's true. Maybe you are working really hard, but are you actually connected to the right vine? Because it's only his vine that you will see good fruit. You see, you can produce fruit, but it won't always be good. And your efforts could be there, and you're wasting your efforts, throwing so much time and energy into something, and God's like, this isn't coming from me. This is all you. And then you're getting angry with God. I did this, I did that, I did this. And God said, we didn't have a conversation about this. You just went and did it. And unabided yourself. You stopped abiding with me. And you stopped abiding with other stuff and connecting to the wrong vine. I am the true vine. And it's in that we're supposed to connect. It's in him that we're supposed to abide. And from abiding with him, we will see fruit from our labor. It's time that we switch the I ams over our lives and we start stepping into his I ams. There's a saying today. Sorry for anyone that's old. You might not know what this means, but I'll explain it. Okay, there's a saying that says you can slip into someone's DMs. Have you heard this? Yeah. So, okay, there's about 5 people that know what that means. Okay, what that means is that DMs is direct messenger. Did anyone get that one? Okay, right. So it means that you could put yourself into someone's private messaging so that you can try and get their attention. Yeah? That we try to slide in like to a celebrity or into someone or whatever, or a lot of celebrities do this with each other. They sort of message each other and they say, they slipped into my DMs, into my direct messages, and that's how they connected or whatever, because they wanted attention. They wanted to get the attention of the person. How about we change something? How about we start slipping into God's I ams? How about we start slipping into the I ams of God? How about we start trying to get his attention rather than trying to get attention? Oh, I am this. Oh, I feel sorry for you. How about we start slipping into him and saying, God, I want to be in your I ams. I want to be under your authority. I want to think the way you think. I don't want to think the way I think anymore. When we get into God's I ams, it doesn't really matter who I am or what I think I am or what I feel I am. What matters is that he is the I am. And in him, I am certain. I am home. I am found. I am alive. I am in light. I am in truth. I am loved. I am provided for. I am his. I'm just going to finish with this. And he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, most gladly, I will rather boast in my infirmities, that the power of Christ may rest upon me. Therefore, I take pleasure in infirmities, in reproaches, in needs, in persecutions, in distresses, for Christ's sake. For when I am weak, then I am strong. This is the problem, church. I am weak. I am weak. I am weak. I am weak. I'm weak. I am weak. I'm weak. I am 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 weak. Is there another saying in there? I don't know. I am weak. What was that? I am weak. What am I? Sorry, I can't hear you. What? What is that? What's in the scripture? What's it say? No. Not he is strong. Doesn't say he is strong. Sorry, so what am I? Sorry, so what are you saying? I am strong. I am weak. I am strong. I am weak. True statement. I am strong. Also a true statement. I am weak, but I am strong. I am weak, but I am strong. It has a different meaning. Say it over yourself. Just say, let's start with what I was doing. Just say, I am weak. Let's just say, I am weak. I am weak. I'm weak. You feeling depressed yet? I'm weak. I'm weak, yeah? Now say, I am weak, but I am strong. Doesn't that, it's still saying the same words at the beginning. Doesn't it have different meaning? Doesn't it carry different power? Why? Because he is. Because this is what Paul is highlighting here. He's saying it's the power of Christ resting upon me. It's in my weaknesses. It's in my I ams, in the I am weaks moments, that we can either just keep saying it and saying it and saying it and saying it, or we can read the word and realize that even though I might say some silly things over my life, I am strong because he is. So you need to start coaching yourself different this week. You can still say you are weak, but you better make sure that you start saying, I am strong. I am strong. You see, we've twisted the scripture to say, when I am weak, he is strong. No, that's not what it's saying. When I am weak, I am strong because of him. Because he is the I am. Because of who he is. Because of what he says over me. And because when I am weak, where do I go? I go to the I am. We go to him for the bread. We go to him for the light. We go to his door. He is the good shepherd. He is the resurrection that we need. He's the way, the truth, the life. He is the true vine. When I'm weak, if I'm going to the I ams, then I am strong. And we need to start saying this. Amen. I am fat. I am not. Let's keep going. Let's do it. Like, Rich, I've been doing this for a year. It's not worked. Joab, do you want to come up? See, I am still aware that I am weak. I'm still aware that there are flaws in myself, yeah? And we all are really good at that with ourselves, yeah? We're all really good at it. So I don't need to say to you, do you think you have flaws? You're like, yeah, have you got a day? Yeah, we're really good at talking about what's not right with us. So we already know that we are weak. We already know that we have weaknesses. Our flesh in itself is a weakness that battles with our spirit. And we have to wrestle with that. We have to fight with that. But because he is the I am strong. And suddenly then the I ams I speak over myself, they get defeated. They start to lose their power. You stop saying, I am weak. I am weak. I am weak. I'm a failure. I'm a failure. I'm a failure. I'm a loser. I'm a loser. I'm a loser. We stop saying that. You start saying, no, I am strong. I am strong. I'm more than a conqueror. I can overcome because of who he is. Now, without him, we're weak. But with him, I am strong. God is not looking for people who live in depression, in deception. He's not looking for people that are a victim of life and they're just saying, I am this, I am that. He is looking for a people who, even though they may say I am weak, they will know that they are strong because they know who he is. We've got to start walking in victory, church. We've got to start walking in victory. The world is already defeated. It's already in a misery. It's already depressed. Let's not look like them. Let's walk in victory. And we can still feel weak, but be strong. Because he said so. Can we have the whole worship team up, please? We're going to just sing a song right now. And we're going to proclaim through the song who the I am is and who we are because of him. And we're going to praise him. And so if you're in a situation right now where you've been speaking a load of junk over your life and that's the mindset that you've become, why don't you make a decision today, right here, right now, to say, I'm going to change the way I think. I'm going to start living under the I am. I'm going to start deciding that I am going to follow him. I'm going to live under his authority. I'm going to follow who he is. I'm going to live for him because he is.